last video I told you guys to make the animations inside of the folders. I've got all my animations done for this character. Attack, idle, jump, and walk. The attack looks like this. If I click, there's his attack. Here's his idle. Here's his jump. And here's his walk. There we go. Okay. What you're going to want to make sure is you don't have repeat turned on any of these. Make sure repeat is not on. We can change that later if we feel like it, but go ahead and leave them off for right now. And there you go. Each one of these, the spelling of each one of these is important, and make sure you have your capitalization correct. You don't have to capitalize if you don't want to. Just make sure you're paying attention to how everything's spelt and the capitalization on your stuff here. All right. I'm going to save what I've done, so I'm going to do Control S. And if you remember, I saved this into the Scenes folder under Characters. So I have Alien 0, or Alien 1, and Alien 6 is the one I just did. Now, what I'm also going to want to do is I'm going to need to create a script for this. I have my Alien 1 script right there. We're going to need to save this script here for this guy. So I'm going to click on Alien 6 at the top on the kinematic body, and I'm going to add a script. And I need to put this in the correct folder. So I'm going to click on this folder here. I'm going to go to Scripts, and I want to put this in the Characters folder. And I'm going to want to save it as Alien 6. So you'll see I'm in the Scripts and then Characters folder. I'm going to hit Open and Create. All right, so I'm going to make this, we're going to start this off real simple. We're just going to make our character do the different animations whenever you press the button. So we'll start off real simple. We're going to have 4 different animations here. So I'm going to create 4 different functions. So to create a function, you start off with func, and then you're going to type the name of the function you want to make. So the first one I'm going to make is attack. And this function, what it's going to do for me here is it's just going to play the attack animation. Play the attack animation. The next one we're going to make is we're going to make the walk animation. So I'm going to do walk. Then we'll do one for idle. And then finally, we'll do one for jump. So this one's going to be idle, jump. Okay, I have the 4 functions, and these functions right here, we're going to need to call them under a certain circumstance. So the circumstance that we're going to call them in is I'm going to make it where if you press a button, I want to play the attack animation. Okay, now if you click on the animation player, you'll see that under animation you can choose any one of these animations. So there's a couple different ways to call this attack animation. I'm going to show you 2 different ways. I'll show you my favorite way first, and I'll show you another way. So at the top, I need to get a hold of this animation player. So I'm going to say on ready var animation player. Alright, so that is going to be my animation player. what I want to store inside of this variable here is going to be that animation player, and it's a node, and it's stored over here under this alien. So I'll say get node, and the node that I want to get is right there, the animation player. So I'm going to use tab to autofill that in. So you can go up and down. I'm going to select on it, and I'm going to press tab. Now the animation player is right there. And if I want to call one of these animations that the animation player has, all I have to do is come down here and say animation player. Dot play, and then I need to choose the animation that I want to play. There are the 4 animations, so I can just say attack. Now I said I would show you another way to do this. That's exactly what I'm going to do. So this, I'll make a comment for this for myself right here. This plays the attack animation, and this stores the animation player. So the animation player has all those little animations that we just made, and you can call it and then tell it which one to play. So there's that. A second way to do this, there's like a shorthand way where you don't have to declare this variable up at top. I don't like doing it this way, but you can do it. If you use the $, and then you can say animation player dot play, and then you can choose the animation that you want to play. This one would be walk. The difference between this one and that bottom one is the top one up here, I'm choosing where and what node to store here. This is like a shorthand way. So I'm going to say shorthand way to call the animation player. Both of these 2 ways are acceptable. These 2 things are going to do the same thing. This one's going to play the attack. This one is going to play the walk animation. Now it's up to you. You can choose whichever one you would like to do for the next 2. I'm going to use the way that I like to do. So I'll say animation player dot play, and then this one's going to be idle, and then the next one is going to be jump. Okay, so I'll make a short note for myself. Play idle and play jump. All right, so I've got all the animations here. Perfect. Now, if I run this scene, he's just going to stand there and he's not going to do anything, even though I have that programmed. Now, the reason why he's not going to do anything is because you didn't tell it when to actually play. So if I'm going to grab him and I'm going to pull him more into the center just so I can see what's going on here. So if I push play, there he is. He's standing there not doing anything. I'm going to come into my script here, and I'm just going to choose one of these functions and I'm going to just tell it to play. So I'm going to grab this. In the ready function, how the ready function works, this plays once at the start of the game. Alright, so this is only going to play one time, and as soon as it plays, it says, hey, play the attack animation. So if I press play on this, you'll see that he plays his attack animation, and then he stops. Now he's not doing anything anymore. Likewise, I could do the walk animation, so instead of playing attack, I could choose to do walk, and I could press play. He's going to play the walk animation once, and then he's going to stand there. Alright, now that's all fine and dandy. That's how we know that these are working, but I want these to play when I press a button. So I'm going to make there is a built-in function in Godot. It's called, I think it's called get input or input event right there. So what happens under input event is anytime you press a button, this function plays. So we're going to need a we're going to need to set some event buttons, and what we're going to do is we're gonna create buttons. I'm gonna use WASD to make this work, right? Or you can choose whichever buttons you would like. So we're gonna come up here into Project, go to Project Settings, go to Input Map, and under your input map, you're going to need to create some buttons for yourself. I'm hiding all of these so you can see the bottom of the buttons that I've already picked. You can see I've got right, left, up, and down, and those are WASD. Those are the WASD keys. Then I have attack, which I used, I think is E. And then I have jump, which is space. Okay. I want you to go ahead and create the right, left, up, and down keys, and we'll go ahead and use those. If you choose to use the attack button as E or whatever buttons you want to use, you can do that. To refresh your memory on how to create a button, what you do is you come up to the top and you create the name of your action. Maybe I want to say, you can call it whatever. The first one you call it probably right, left, up, and down. Let's say I will make a new action. I'm going to call it power jump or something like that. You are going to want to use right, left, up, or down, or attack and jump. Maybe I should use idle. Let's use idle. Here we go. And I'm going to click add. Now I have a new action. It's called the idle action, but there's no way. You need to add a button to it. So if you click next to the plus sign, you can choose a key or a mouse or a joystick button. I'm going to use a key, and the button I'm going to use is Q. Alright, so now I have an idle action, and if I press Q, it knows to do the idle action. Alright, so under this input event, I will say if input dot is action just pressed, and I'm going to go ahead and use my idle action. So if the person presses the idle button, what do I want to do? Well, I want to play the idle animation. So there we go. I'm going to get rid of this part right here so you can see what's happening. Okay, so we have our input function. This function plays whenever a button is pressed. For my note here, I'll say if the button is idle, play the idle animation. Alright, let's see if this works. So my idle button should be Q. Alright, so now it's sitting there. Now if I press Q, he plays the idle animation. And if I tap it over and over again, he's going to keep playing his little idle animation. If I don't press anything, he's not going to move at all. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and add the rest of the buttons for these. Let's do if input dot is action just pressed, and I'll say attack, and if I press the attack button, that must mean I want to see the attack animation. Okay, now I'm going to do one for jump. So if input dot is action just pressed, and then we'll use the jump. So if I press the jump button, I probably want to see the jump animation. And then finally, if input dot is action pressed, and I'm going to use right I mean, you can use all of them, or you could even use like an or. I'm just going to use right though for now. So if I push the right button, then I want to see my character walk. So then I'll use this walk command. Alright, so if I push idle, I want to see the idle animation. If I press the attack button, I want to see his attack animation. If I press the jump, I want to see him jump. And if I push right, I want to see him walk. Alright, let's press play and check out these animations. So there's the walking animation. Here's the idle animation. Here's the attack animation. And then the jump animation. Alright. That's all we're going to do for this. If you are able to get through this and you have extra time because you're just super fast, you can add another character if you'd like. Or you can see about how would you program maybe making your character move to the right or move to the left and play that animation. Hopefully this gives you a good idea on how the animations and using functions work. I will see you guys in the next video. Make sure you save this, Control S. Have a great day. See you guys in the next one.